7 games, 48 minutes each, hundreds of calls, dozens of moments. One series that nobody who watched it has ever fully made peace with. Was it the greatest Western Conference Finals ever played? Was it a masterpiece of basketball? Or was the whole thing something else entirely? Something the league would rather you forget. I went through all 7 games, every call, every sequence, every number that doesn't add up. Let me tell you exactly what happened. In the history of the NBA, few playoff series have been as contentious and controversial as the 2000 Western Conference Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. The series, which pitted two powerhouse teams against each other, was filled with intense moments and strange situations that have left fans scratching their heads to this day. The Los Angeles Lakers, with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant leading the team, had a goal to win the NBA championship after a 12-year gap. The Portland Trail Blazers, nicknamed the Jail Blazers, due to their aggressive and sometimes unpredictable play style as well as their numerous off-court issues, were equally determined to make it to the NBA Finals and leave a mark. Still, no one gave any team outside of the Lakers a shot to win the NBA championship in the 1999-2000 season. LA was at its apex. Shaq was in the best shape of his life and truly deserving of his MVP award. Kobe played the sidekick role this season, but he played it perfectly, surrounding the Lakers' incredible duo, fantastic pieces like sharpshooter Glenn Rice and some key players with championship experience in Ron Harper, AC Green, and John Sally. Still, the biggest improvement from the years past that sprung the Lakers as clear favorites was the head coaching hiring of Phil Jackson, who famously won 6 titles in Chicago as coach of the Bulls. But the biggest addition to the Blazers roster this season was a man who needed no introduction, a former Chicago Bull, a 6-time champion, and one of the greatest two-way players the game has ever seen, Scottie Pippen. The series was looked at by many as the real championship series, as no one gave any team from the East a shot at defeating the Lakers or the Blazers. This is where the controversy of the series begins. There's a theory that NBC, which owned the television rights to playoff games at the time, also believed the Western Conference Finals would be the real finals and wanted to make it a 7-game series. In Game 1, the Lakers, led by Shaq's 41 points and 11 rebounds, blew out the Blazers by a score of 109-94. One major reason for this was the fact that the Blazers' young star Rasheed Wallace only played a little over 16 minutes. The question now has to be asked, why did Wallace play for just 16 minutes? In the third quarter, Wallace was thrown out of the game by staring at referee Ron Garrison after committing his 4th personal foul. It is strange that a player would be thrown out of a big playoff game just for staring at someone, and this is the reason the controversy surrounding the series first started. Rasheed Wallace didn't just have a temper, he had a track record, and every referee in the league knew it by heart. In the 1999-2000 season alone, Wallace racked up technical fouls at a rate that made league officials cringe. He didn't need to throw punches, he didn't need to chase anyone down. A hard stare, a slow turn, a word just loud enough. That was enough. That was always enough with Rasheed. He argued calls the way other players shoot free throws, habitually, instinctively, like it was the part of his game. And the referees had a file on him. Every technical, every ejection, every post-game fine, all of it followed them into that building on May 2000, right into the third quarter. By tip-off of Game 1, the benefit of the doubt wasn't something Rasheed Wallace was getting. The referees had already made up their minds. Then, in Game 2, the Blazers got the upper hand on the Lakers, blowing LA out by a score of 106-77. One reason the Blazers were able to contain Shaq and the Lakers was that the referees allowed the Blazers to get away with very physical play during the first 3 quarters of the game, especially on Shaq. This theory was pointed out by a writer of the LA Times after Game 2, where he stated this theory and also wrote, "It smells like a TV ratings increase for the Friday's Game 3. Conspiracy theorists truly believe that the league, spearheaded by NBC, wanted to give the Blazers a chance to stay in the series. Phil Jackson, measured as ever, gave Portland their credit after Game 2. He acknowledged the Blazers caught the Lakers off balance in the second half and admitted Shaq never found his rhythm, uncharacteristic, concerning. Charles Barkley put it plainly, if Kobe and Shaq don't show up, nobody else on that roster can save them. The supporting cast had one job: stay out of the way and let the two stars take over. Pippen and Wallace kept it business. Yes, they shifted to home court. Yes, it meant something, but they knew games 3 and 4 in Portland were where this series would actually be decided. One game at a time. The job wasn't finished. This theory went out of the window after the Lakers won the next two games to take a 3-1 series lead. First, in Game 3, with the score tied 91-91 with 30 seconds remaining, Ron Harper drilled a wide-open shot to give LA a 2-point lead. Ron Harper, 36 years old, 5 championship rings. The Lakers didn't sign him to score. They signed him because he'd been in these moments before and he didn't flinch. He was the bridge, the guy who handed everything he learned playing alongside Michael Jordan directly to Kobe Bryant every single day in practice. And right here, he earned his keep. Then, on the Blazers' final possession, Kobe blocked Arvydas Sabonis to save the game for the Lakers. Glenn Rice loses his man. Sabonis reads it instantly. 7 feet of Baltic instinct finding the gap before the defense even reacts. Contact or a block? Sabonis spins to the referee, arms out, pleading. The buzzer answers before anyone else can. No call. Portland's crowd erupts into silence. Sabonis walks toward the tunnel, a man who knows exactly what just happened and knows no one is coming to fix it. After the loss, Pippen was famously caught knocking over the towels on his way to the locker room. Pippen and the rest of his teammates were upset because they believed Kobe had fouled Sabonis on his final shot attempt. Was it a foul though? Kobe clearly blocked Sabonis up top, but did he get away with the push? The referee saw something, or chose not to. Nobody in that building to this day agrees on which. Literally a 50-50 play. In Game 4, the Lakers battled back from a 47-42 halftime deficit to win the game 103-91. The series looked to be all but over as the Blazers blew both games at home and had to head back to LA for Game 5. Don Levy knew this series was survival. Kobe didn't sugarcoat it. The message to his team was simple: go to Portland and crush them. No mercy, no room for sentiment. Then the unthinkable happened. Portland won back-to-back games to tie the series up, forcing a pivotal Game 7. The Blazers won Game 5 in LA by a score of 96-88 thanks to Pippen and Wallace each scoring 22 points. Portland made a decision, sent two bodies at Shaq every time, forced someone else to beat them, make the role players answer. Scottie Pippen didn't wait for the game to come to him. He attacked straight through 5 Lakers defenders, drawing iron from Kobe Bryant early, putting him in the kind of foul trouble that changes how a player moves for the rest of the night. That set the tone and Portland never let it go. In the second half, Rasheed Wallace made Robert Horry his personal problem, backing him down, finishing over him, bucket after bucket. Portland was playing like a team that finally believed. In Game 6, Portland walked away with a 103-93 victory. And here's where the controversy starts back up. Heading into the fourth quarter of Game 6, the Blazers led 73-63 with Shaq and Kobe on the opposite side. A 10-point lead is no guarantee. Unfortunately for the Lakers, they were unable to catch up to the Blazers in the fourth quarter, with their closest margin being 8 points. This could be attributed to the Blazers having 16 fourth quarter free throw attempts while the Lakers only had 6. Some people speculate that this was yet again a deliberate move by the NBA and NBC to ensure a Game 7, but there's no way to prove it. Portland had done it. 6 games in, the Blazers had punched back twice, and Scottie Pippen let himself feel it. Just for a moment. Just enough. Shaquille O'Neal walked that tunnel without a word. 3-1 had become 3-3. The Lakers had a problem. This was supposed to be an easy series, right? Ahmad Rashad put it directly to Pippen. How does this team handle a Game 7 on the road? Pippen's answer didn't need many words. His expression said the rest. One of the greatest Game 7s was on the way. This issue of free throw attempts would return in Game 7 and prove to be crucial in deciding the series' final game. The Blazers showed the Lakers that they were ready for crucial Game 7. Portland jumped out of a 23-16 first quarter lead. They held on to the lead at the half, being ahead 42-39. This game was everything the series promised. No easy baskets, no open looks, every possession fought for like it was the last one, because for one of these teams it was going to be. Portland came out swinging. Los Angeles answered. The crowd at Staples Center felt it from the opening tip. This wasn't going to be decided by talent alone. Something else was going to have to give. Rasheed Wallace and Scottie Pippen weren't just playing, they were steering. Two veterans on a mission, pulling Portland towards something historic. Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant force in basketball, the man who had made this entire run look inevitable, was struggling. Portland had studied him all series. They knew his spots, his angles, his tendencies. The free throw line exposed him. The double teams contained him. For long stretches of Game 7, the Lakers' entire foundation looked shaky. The Lakers had no answer for Rasheed Wallace. And then there was Bonzi Wells, physical, relentless, making noise in the moments the Lakers desperately needed quiet. He was posting, finishing, reading the defense before it could set. Every time Los Angeles tried to adjust, Portland countered. Portland was the better team on this night, and everyone in that building knew it. The third quarter was when the Blazers truly exerted their dominance. Portland outscored LA 29-19 to take a 71-58 lead heading into the fourth quarter. AC Green had no answer for Rasheed Wallace in the post. Nobody on that Lakers roster did. And then the referees entered the conversation, the way they always seem to with Rasheed Wallace. Foul calls that didn't quite make sense, contact that other players get away with clean, but the officials were watching him specifically. They always have. That is how you neutralize a player without touching him. The Blazers were led by Rasheed Wallace and Steve Smith, who both scored 10 points in the third quarter. It was becoming pretty clear that the Blazers, despite not having the two biggest stars on their roster, certainly had the deeper team. But in the fourth quarter, everything changed. The Blazers went ice cold, missing 13 shots in a row at one point, while not scoring a single point for a span of 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Wallace, who had been on fire leading up to the fourth, couldn't buy a bucket. Shooting just 3 for 9 in the quarter, the Lakers were led by Kobe and Shaq, who each scored 9 in the period. The biggest part of the Blazers' collapse, outside of their sudden cold streak, was the free throw disparity. The Blazers attempted 4 free throws in the fourth, while the Lakers took 18. For the entire game, Portland took 16 foul shots to LA's 37. That's right, the Lakers attempted more free throws in the fourth quarter than the Blazers did during the entire game. Does this sound like a fixed game to you? Many conspiracy theorists certainly think so. As mentioned earlier, it looks like to be that way, but we'll never truly know. There were many questionable calls and even some blatant bad calls. A prime example of this occurred with 8:35 remaining in the game. Shaq clearly elbowed Sabonis in the post as he made his offensive move. This was an obvious offensive foul, yet the foul was called on Sabonis, his fifth, and he had to leave the game because of his foul trouble. Watch the clip. Watch it carefully. Shaq's elbow finds Sabonis first. A hook, deliberate, forceful, textbook offensive foul. Sabonis barely breathes on him, yet the whistle blows the other way. Then he walked to the bench, sat down, and Portland's most important interior presence against Shaq was gone. Dunleavy is off the bench instantly, arms up, screaming at the officials. Did they see the hook? How could they miss it? Sabonis doesn't argue, he just looks at the referee. That single looks at everything. Steve Smith attacks with 30 seconds left, draws contact, goes up, and the whistle stays silent. He spins around to the referee with his arms out. Nothing. No call. Portland now has no choice. They have to foul. They have to send the Lakers to the line. The same free throw line that swallowed this game whole. Smith stands at the half court, shaking his head. He can't process it. Dunleavy is already gone, furious, storming the sideline, arguing to anyone who listened. Nobody listened. The Lakers went on to win the game 89-84 and went on to win the NBA Finals in 6 games over the Indiana Pacers. As for Game 7 versus the Blazers, the defining moment of the game and the entire series for the Los Angeles Lakers was when Kobe Bryant crossed up and drove past Scottie Pippen while throwing an alley-oop pass to Shaquille O'Neal, who finished with a monster dunk, giving the Lakers an 85-79 lead with 41.3 seconds remaining. Something was happening in that building, and by this point, even the people trying not to believe it were starting to wonder. Nobody could believe what just happened. By then the damage was done. Kobe to Shaq, one play, one dunk, one moment that sealed it all. And as the crowd at Staples Center shook the building, Shaquille O'Neal looked up into the stands and pointed to his newborn son, Sharif. His first championship, his father's finest hour. What an ending to a 7-game series. This haunting image continues to torment Blazers fans who firmly believe that their team would have won the NBA championship if they had defeated the Lakers. Did the NBA and NBC prevent this outcome? You decide.